doing so well. So yeah.
Oh, wow, good for you.
Yeah.
So it looks like you should be able to get a bunch of people interested.
I hope so. Between now and the end of the month, we'll see what happens. I'm just waiting for some more samples too.
Yeah.
What? You what? Okay, and then I gave you watermelon with a few raspberries, and I gave you cucumber.
Please, everybody, mute your phones. We are about to start. Mute your phones.
Welcome, everyone. We're going to be getting started in just 1 minute. Send out any last-minute text. Make sure that your team knows that the call is starting in just a couple minutes. Good evening, everyone. I know every week we have been having different leaders that have been hosting the calls. I literally just got back in town, and I don't have the list of who is supposed to be doing it tonight. Guys, y'all.
It's supposed to be me, Earl.
What's up, Earl?
I'm supposed to do it tonight.
Perfect. Well, have her get started, and then we're gonna. We have a lot of cool stuff to basically share tonight on some new announcements and different stuff like that. So if you want to get the call started, let's get that going, and then you can turn it back over, and we'll get this bad boy rocking. Over to you.
Sounds great. Sounds great. Yeah, tonight I'm coming to you from a place I've never been before, and I'm talking about in success. And I just kind of wanted to share that with everybody. If you're on this journey, each and every day should find us at a different place than we've ever been before. And that's where I found myself, knowing that I've had successes in my life, but I've never been to this point that I'm at tonight. And I know this being an opportunity call and also sharing and business type call, I do want to share some points tonight. And some I've shared the other day on the Saturday that I did, the Saturday training. But it's number one is to be happy and to be excited and to share our stories, to share our products, and to connect with one another. These are those basic points that I'd like to bring out tonight. But I would like to share a different part of my story if I could, and to motivate folks. I know the longer that we go in this, we hit dead spots and we hit places that it seems like we just really don't know what to do. And we kind of look at ourselves and say, you know, what's happening to me? I'm sort of doing everything that I need to do or whatever. But I believe that we have to look inside ourselves, and we have to begin to look and say, you know, well, what can I do? What can I do to change the position that I'm in? And so to be more successful than we've ever been, it takes elevating ourselves. And it's kind of ironic, you know, that Elevate, our business that we're in, it really tunes into that we elevate ourselves. And to have the greatest success that we've ever had, we must elevate ourselves continually. And we can't stay in the same place that we started out. My success so far, you know, I've reached as far as it's concerned, I've reached the level of diamond. And that doesn't make me special, but it does make me feel good to the fact that in any other business I've been in, I've never been able to attain that kind of success that I've had. And to be recognized that the way that we're recognized for the achievements that we have and the success that we have, it makes me feel, you know, that I'm appreciated. Now, we all like to be stroked sometime, and I don't know who would not like to hear a good word every now and then, but we have such support around us. We have so many successful people that pour into us that is changing my success level and changing your success level. And so when I talk about being happy and being excited, it's not hard for me to do that because I can look back at what it's already done for me and the success that I've had in my health, the success that has come to me through the business itself. And I didn't do it all by myself. It's because people poured into me, and that keeps me happy. When I get to that point where it's like, you know, well, I'm in this by myself, or I feel alone. You know, I get a call from somebody, it seems like, or I run into somebody that's another elevapreneur somewhere. You know, and there's a good word poured into me. I guess you could say that support comes in by we trust one another, we care about one another, and we want to see each other succeed. And one of the things that really I've seen, it don't matter if you're in the same team or not, that you reach out across the lines and you help one another because we all want to succeed. And it's so true that we must
Lost you, Earl.
Yep, we love Earl.
That's intrigue marketing right there at its best.
Okay.
It was so awesome.
So it looks like we lost Earl. All right, so why don't we do this? Why don't we go to some of the ambassadors that were at corporate and were able to meet Mr. and Mrs. McGrath. Tony Garcia, I see you out there. Do you want to start it off?
I'm sorry, a phone call came in and kicked me off. I'm sorry.
All right, well then
Okay. I'll pick up when he's done, Chris.
finish up, Earl, and then we're going to go to Tony Garcia.
Okay. One of the things that come to me the other day was that once we learned that people's wants do not match their want to, therefore they don't. If we don't have a want to and we don't have that drive and that vision inside of us, there's nothing to keep us going. And I believe to keep us elevated and to keep us driven, that we have to keep remembering what our purpose was and what our vision was, and that our want to has to meet the effort that we're willing to put out. If you don't get it, it's a lot of times because you really don't want it. It's because you're not excited as you need to be. You don't have that drive. So it must not be the main thing that you want in life. I was just talking to a friend of mine in the music business that we've been in for so long. We give up a lot of things to achieve what we did achieve. And a lot of people don't like to do that. We missed a lot of family time. We missed a lot of hunting, fishing, whatever you want to do. We missed it because that's what we wanted to succeed at. And now that in this business, I'm finding, you know, that it's got to be my want to. It's got to be my want. It's got to be my vision. And I got to be willing to give it everything that I've got. And I do that by pouring into those around me and becoming successful. If I make them that way, then I'm going to be that way. So one of the things that I also wanted to share real quick is one opportunity creates more opportunities. So if you miss one opportunity, you may miss the opportunity. You may miss, if you don't take advantage of reaching out to people, and this is reaching out to customers and others that maybe you think could be an entrepreneur. If you don't reach out to them, you may miss that one that just blows the whole thing open. And that can just make everything a great success by them reaching other people also. So we got to be careful and not centered on ourselves, but centered on other people. And that way it comes back to us. And So since you have some other stuff there, I'll just hush right there and let you have it if you got some other stuff that we need to get to.
No, you're all good, brother. Appreciate you. Thank you so much for sharing, Earl. You always have amazing amounts of wisdom that you share. So again, we appreciate you, and we're proud of everything that you've been able to accomplish, not only yourself, but with your team. So Tony Garcia, are you out there?
Yes, Chris, I'm here.
So I know that you just got back from corporate. So how did you feel about meeting the McGraths?
Well, actually, I think we all left there pretty elated. That's a very huge that's a huge statement for us to take on a couple such as them, knowing the credibility and the following that they have in this industry and being who they are, and knowing what they're going to do with us is pretty incredible. You know, their field leadership is going to be putting us in the ability to be able to work really closely with them. So I'm really excited about that, to be able to learn from literally icons in the industry. You know, we're pretty excited about that. I don't know. I had the Thursday before A&MP. There was something about that. And I told him there, I was like, I just felt like you guys belong here. And to see them come here is pretty incredible. So for those of you that haven't had the opportunity to meet these two and learn these two and their hearts and what they're about, they are just exceptional, and they blend in the culture that we have really, really well. So they're super excited to be here with us and very grateful. And I think it's going to be a great match.
Talking with mute on. Hey, Ricky, do you want to jump on board and kind of share your perspective? I know that you said that they had done a call earlier today, and you were extremely impressed with the way that they handled that. I don't know if you're in a position where you can talk real quick.
Yeah, Chris, I'm here. Give me a kiss. No. Oh, sorry about that. The little one, she's sick. She's been throwing up for the last couple of hours. She ain't feeling too good. I guess she got the cooties from her friends at school today, first day of school. No, yeah, to piggyback what Tony said, man, whenever I met the McGraths at the A&MP this year, I've never met a couple like that. It's instantly, the minute that you meet these people, you feel like a peace going down your body, you know, like a spirit. And they are just completely amazing. And I was able to hop on a call that they were having with the Canadians, you know, sorting out some issues that we have going on in the Canadian market. Obviously, we have the same issue going on in Australia, trying to open up these countries. And just to know that, you know, they're here to support us, that they feel, and I think stuff is going to be working out for our favor, definitely. But I did wanted to cover this with you guys because we haven't gone over this in a while, because we get a lot of people saying, well, how are these companies getting into these other countries so fast? Well, number one, guys, they're not trying to build a legacy company. They're trying to get into these countries and get in and get out and make their money. Just that's why you see so many network marketings come and go, because they're in it for the money. They're not in it for the people, right? With that being said, I want you guys to really think about how early on we are into this company. We're only 20 months old and we're under a public company. What does that mean to you? Guys, as we grow this company, our public stock is gonna, you know, grow with that. And if you are purchasing stock within the company, you know, you're gonna be able to set your family up for the future if our stock goes up like we plan on it going up. With that being said, also, whenever you're under a public company, you want to follow the guidelines. of these countries. Okay, we're not a private company to where we can go bend the rules on these other countries and think it's okay. The privately owned companies, they don't care. They'll just go in their NFR, sell their products, and they don't care. We cannot do that, okay, because we're under a public company, and the shareholders of our company pretty much own our company, which that's a very great thing, because if something happens at corporate, somebody gets fired at corporate, guess what, guys? We're protected because of our public company. So that there's good sides to it, and there's bad sides to it, because the countries can't open up quickly like the way we want it because our product is so effective. So guys, I wanted to share that with you tonight, because I get a lot of calls, people saying, hey, why is the company getting over here and doing this and doing that? Well, there's your answer. We're under a public company. We're going to do stuff right and ethical to where we cannot get in trouble, and our shareholders are protected also.
Perfect explanation, guys. I was actually having that same conversation with Mark the other night, and we always look at, we want to contrast. We want to look at other, we see what other companies might have done and all that. And what Ricky's trying to share is that you cannot do it the wrong way as a public company. And guys, early on, we were doing a lot of things we weren't necessarily supposed to do. Originally, they thought they could do things that they realized as we became a real company, as the right people started coming into play, they started sharing like, you can't do it like that as a public company, that everything has to be done a certain way and everything has to be reported. And you can get in a lot of trouble when those things don't happen. And there have been a lot of changes at corporate due to some of the decisions that were made early on, and why we have the people that we have in place right now. So, guys, what you want to understand about Garrett and his wife Sylvia is that they were top promoters in another company, like literally where that entire company was up in their organization, and they walked away from a very significant income that they still had an income in. To come over here to be a part of the family based on what you guys have created. So because of the culture that we as a team and the other organizations within the group, but we are a good, third of the company, this organization alone, they came here based on what we've done. And the exciting thing is that they're not coming in here going, oh, we're going to change what you've been doing, and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. What they're coming in to do is complement what we've been doing. They came to join our culture, not change the culture or create a culture, but to join into our culture. And just like Tony had kind of mentioned that, she just felt like they belonged here, and that's the kind of people that we want to have here. And they have a lot of experience in the field and are going to be helping be that go-between with corporate as well as the field, because we all know that the communication could have been better throughout this process, and they've done what they could to the ability they could based on the resources that they had, and I'm talking about human resources. So what I can tell you is that Garrett understands what we in the field need because he came directly from the field, and he's going to be that go-between and make sure that we have all the things that we need in the field, many of the things that we've been wanting and we've been looking for quite some time. And he has assured this group of leaders that he's going to help get this done and get it done quickly. With that being said, any other leaders that were at at corporate that might want to share their perspective? Francisco's sharing how he was actually in their downline. I talked to the Gaducci's over the weekend, and they've actually been in the organization with him and a company back in the day, and were amazing. In fact, Shannon McDonald also has a great relationship with them and has worked with them for years as well. So every person that has worked with them and known them has said the same thing, that they are just like us, and they are basically one of the best things that could have happened to our company. So, Gavin Teague, are you out there, brother? I know we have, I don't know if Marcy's on, Ian, if any of you guys,
I'm here.
go ahead. Share your
Um,
perspective.
Let me get in a place where I'm in a dark house. Hang on. Try not to be loud. Okay. It was awesome. You know, just Garrett and Sylvia, they added just so much, I would say, belief, which is incredible because they are operating basically as the communication between corporate and the fields. The things that we need, they're going to be on top of it. All I can say, guys, we have some really, really exciting things coming. Like really, really exciting. You're going to want to be at convention, 100% be at convention for a few different reasons. Can't mention all of them, but it's going to be incredible where we're going as a company. 2020 is going to be a year of extremely fast growth. So, you know, look at everything you're doing now as planting seeds, guys. Everybody is going to be asking and looking at what we're doing at some point. So, you know, it doesn't happen right away. I know naturally as human beings, we want instant gratification, not just in our life, but in our business. And I promise all of you, if you stay consistent, you know, everywhere you go, keep connecting with new people, keep networking. It's just amazing how when you elevate your energy and your belief and your activity that you're doing on a daily basis, it's amazing the results that will flourish from that. But you have to look further down the road. You have to look a year from now and just think, like, what if you literally just introduce 2 new people per day to what we're doing? And just creating that consistent exposure, and your business will grow in the process, guys. Like, if you're properly putting yourself out there and just sharing love and happiness to the point where people they're gravitating towards you, that's what you have to realize. Like, are you a person that you would want to follow? And a lot of times I ask myself that, and I look at what I'm putting out there and the way I'm presenting myself and wondering, like, am I being a person that's true to myself and that others want to follow? And you have to do that. Because as a leader and having this opportunity, you have your hands on something that's going to impact a lot of people's lives. But what's coming and I mean, what I took away from corporate is just really, truly the culture we have created, how special what we have our hands on really, really is. There is something new coming at some point. Hint, hint, maybe be at convention so you can find out what that is. But guys, I'm just really excited, and where we're going is incredible. So just hang in there and keep doing what you're doing and keep plugging in and learning. That's really what it's all about. Am I supposed to pass it to anybody?
No, talking again with mute on. Ian Prather, I think you're the last one that was at the event that I don't know if you're in a position where you can talk real quick.
Retail. Oh.
Ian. I see him on the call, but I'm not sure if he can.
Hello. What's up,
Hey, would you mind just sharing your perspective? Because I know that you've been in the trenches and a part of all that. What was your take on it and your feelings?
So my feelings about the deal, in these meetings that we have up there, and one of the big kind of overall takeaways I got from the meeting was that you don't know what you don't know. And a lot of what I don't know is what it's like to be involved with a public company. And when they call all of us from the field that go up there to a meeting at corporate, I just didn't see what the big deal was. Like, why am I having to sign a non-disclosure agreement and stuff like that? Like, you know, why can't we just go tell everybody everything? And so we got a very kind of deep dive education into being involved in a public company. And the fact that, you know, a lot of stuff that we've done from the beginning, I mean, I would get excited Ricky's excited, Chris is excited. We got to run back and tell everything to the team. But what we kind of learned is that when you do stuff like that and you share stuff that has not been made available to the public, that you're technically breaking the law and putting yourself at risk. And so when we go up there and they share certain things with us, the reason why they are making us do those kind of things is to protect us from our own selves, because it is a publicly traded company. People buy stock in the company. You guys remember Martha Stewart going to jail? She went to jail because somebody whispered some insider information to her, right? And she took that advice that wasn't publicly available and did some stuff with stock, and they threw her in jail. And so, like, guys, I'm just like a lot of other people of trying to get better educated about that kind of stuff, because I don't know about all that kind of stuff. So that's one of the things that I'm going to ask Garrett to personally do to try to get this down all the way through the field. And here's an example. If we have somebody from the company tell somebody in the field that we did $15 million worth of sales, and we go get on a Zoom and we tell everybody, oh my God, we just did $15 million in the past month worth of sales. And somebody hears that and they go out and buy a bunch of stock because we just did 15 million worth of sales. And then they actually put out the reports that they're legally required to do. And guess what? We only did 12. After they do all the accounting and they take out all the expenses, they do all that stuff, it wasn't 15, it was 12. Well, that person that bought a bunch of stock can come back and sue me personally for giving them false information. Right? And so that's something that simple, being involved in a public company, they have a lot of rules and regulations to protect the public who are allowed to come and buy stock in our company. It's not a privately held company. So guys, we learned a lot of stuff about that, about a lot of responsibilities the officers of the company have and things like that, as far as reporting goes, reporting numbers, reporting disclosing information to the public that's buying our stock. This is not like if you go start your own company and you own all of the company, you're not held to the same standards and requirements and reporting as somebody that has went and filed that this is going to be a public company that people can buy stock. So with that being said, that just talking about that gives me a headache. That's way more businessy than I like to get. But because we are involved in a public company, like, we kind of need to know that stuff, to protect our own self. We kind of need to know that. But as far as the McGraths go, guys, fantastic people. And what I thought was the most hilarious thing, and when you guys actually hear Garrett McGrath speak and you hear him laugh, that laugh is like bells ringing from heaven. It is the best thing ever to hear this guy speak and talk and laugh like that. Just pure joy coming out of the guy. And what he was laughing about is that this is his first job that he's ever had. He's been in network marketing since he was a kid. For all of his life, he's been in network marketing, team building, doing that. And so whenever he realized, oh my God, I've taken a job, like a corporate job at a company, this is literally the first real job that he's ever had. And so when he said that and just died laughing, like everybody cracked up, and you just feel at home with these people. And I did get a chance to pull him to the side and talk to him in person. And you know what he said to me? He said, man, you have an awesome keto group. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he said, well, I have an alias on Facebook and I've been stalking, different people in the company to see what they have going on and what they're doing. He said, I've been in your keto group and it's awesome. I love it. And I'm like, holy cow, I've never even talked to this guy before. But that's how involved he wants to be. That's how in tune he is to see what people are doing to be successful in the company. He wants to capture those things and combine them together and help everybody win. And so that's one thing that I really, really appreciated about him and about his wife. Betsy talked to Sylvia for quite a while at the end of the meeting. They're just fantastic people. They have a great son. He's the one who signed me up into the ANMP. I didn't even realize Liam was the son of Garrett. And he was just like a total pro. And he's like a kid, getting me signed up into the ANMP. which was kind of cool. So anyway, that's all I got to report, Chris. Just wanted to throw that out there to everybody. Love you and appreciate you. I miss you. Hope you guys had a great weekend down in Florida. I'm going to shut up.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Guys, so I just got back from Orlando on the first Rising Star Retreat, because what we recognized is we had we did our Diamond and Above retreat. And I'm sitting there going, now, what in the world was it? And to put into words what people experience at these things is absolutely impossible, because it is an experience. It is I've never seen a situation where it's absolutely the safest environment that you could be in. And it allows people to, basically connect on a whole nother level. And it allows people to really not only connect, but to be vulnerable, to be themselves, to recognize just even the challenges that they have setting goals, right? And one of the things that it starts out with, and you guys are going to be able to do this because the Rising Star Retreats are not going to be held only for people that are at a certain title and different things like that. It's going to be for a bunch of people that are up and comings, people that might either have been here for a little while or are brand new, that you'll be invited to go to one of these events. And guys, I really can't put into words, but I can tell you that I was the only person from our organization. I actually went there as one of the speakers, and it was an extremely different experience for me, because the last time it was all our people, where we all had relationships and already kind of knew everybody. But to go into this event and not have these relationships and have it be 4 separate organizations in the group, and then to leave there and to have that kind of connection that I even had with my own group leaving there, it was absolutely just phenomenal. To be able to go in and build those relationships and have those experiences with sideline teams was just a really humbling experience. And I really feel blessed to be able to be a part of that, even though it wasn't our group. And what I'm really excited for is as you guys are starting to go to these things, I know that the leaders that were at the last, the leader retreat, how much it impacted them and how connected and how everyone felt, and it was amazing. So to know that you guys are going to be able to plug into something like this, and I can tell you that Jordan was also there, and his take on it was like, this is what it's really like. This is the special sauce. Like, this is the secret ingredient. Like, when you understand the relationship that many of the leaders have, right? And many of the leaders have spent a lot of time together. And we've gone to training after training where we've traveled together and we've done all these things. And the culture and the friendships that we've been able to hedge through this process is the special sauce, is what has kept the people together, is what has kept people locked into our company, even through all the challenges. And one of the things that I've also noticed lately, and I'm going to talk a little bit about this, and this is, I want you guys to really understand that when you understand the industry, number one, and what drives a model and how it all works, and I'm so blown away, and even lately I've been seeing more of it. We're starting to see more shiny objects out there, and you'll be seeing it. And as you have people and as you're exposed to network marketing for a while and you build relationships with many different people, what you're going to recognize is that people are always looking for reasons on why they're either having success or not having success. And the least looked place that people look to see where the challenge is, if they're not growing to the level that they want, the least looked place is the mirror. Most people don't want to look in the mirror whenever, you know, things aren't going the way that they want. And most of the time, it comes from the lack of activity due to the lack of belief. And when you can basically start to create, and guys, what these calls are about and why we recommend everybody getting on these things and plugging in is because when we talk about what it is we really market here, and I talked a lot about this over the weekend, what we market is a community that is based around, if you understand the core principles of our system and how it's designed to align with the 6 basic human needs of certainty, love and connection, you know, significance, growth, contribution, all these things, and you understand how we did what we did as a team and as a company, if you really understood what that was all about, you would understand why our company has grown even in the midst of great obstacles. In the worst challenges I've ever seen in 20 years of network marketing, I've experienced more challenges through this process, the way that you freaks, and I'm going to say freaks, because you grew this thing through the biggest obstacles that take most companies down. And you still grew. And it's still just totally, I mean, it's unbelievable. So I'm reading the book Culture Code right now. And in there, one of the things that it talks about is what drives a model and what drives a culture. And I want to talk about this in tying it in with the shiny object syndrome. Because in this study, what they did in the Culture Code was they had this guy, I think his name was Andrew, that his job was he played 3 roles. And he was planted in these groups, and they were marketing groups where they had these leaders get together and they had to market something, and they were doing projects, and he was in there to sabotage it. And what his job was in one of the roles was to be like a Debbie Downer and just low energy, and like he would even like lay his head on the desk and stuff while they're together as a team doing something, and he put out this energy that he didn't care. And in the study, what they found was that it caused the energy of the whole group to come down when they had this negative person within the group. And I'm sharing that because some of you all listen to negative people. Y'all sit there and basically are listening to people pee in your ear. Negativity, negativity. Like you would never let somebody come into your living room on your brand new carpet and just squat down and start peeing on your floor, would you? But what will happen is we will let people pee in our ear. Negativity. And we let people pee whatever. And wherever your filter is set to look for, you're gonna see that. So if you're looking for reasons on why your business isn't growing, guess what? You'll find reasons. You'll come up with the reasons on and start blaming it on things. And what I'm trying to tell you is that the first place that you want to look is in the mirror. And you have to ask yourself, am I the leader that I would want to join? Would I want to join me based on my mindset, based on my attitude, based on the way that I think and the way that I'm talking or the energy that I put out there? When you walk into a room, do you light it up? Are people fired up to be around you? Or are you that Debbie Downer where you're actually bringing the energy down in the group? So the next role that he played was the arrogant jerk. And it was funny how that, I might have to go grab the book to see the third one, but what happened, and I'm going to kind of synopsis this part together. The same thing happened in the role where he was the jerk. And acted like, you know, when you have that person that is in a group or you're talking to or listening to, and you're letting that person influence you by listening to them, if people are not saying things that are basically driving you to inspire you to move towards your goal, then you shouldn't be listening to that person. And I'm going to tie this into the book, Outwitting the Devil. And what he explains in that book is that the devil explains to Napoleon Hill how he controls people and who he is and what he is. So let's just say this book is called Outwitting the Devil. And this is where Napoleon Hill, and I can't remember if he did it in a dream or how it happened, but in the book, he interviews Satan, right? And you're like, why would you want to even, that's just scary, Santa. Why would you want to do that? Because if you understand how the enemy tries to attack us, then you can basically fight it off, right? And the way that the enemy describes himself is that every negative atom, every atom on the planet has a negative and a positive charge, and how every negative thing in this planet is of him, and all the positive things are of God, right? And this is the way that he describes it in the book. So if that's the case, or whether it's not the case, it doesn't matter. This isn't religious. This is just basically a book there was no agenda behind it, but to let you know that there's a battle going on. And a lot of times that battle is going on in between your ears. And that battle is the negative thoughts or the positive thoughts that are happening. It's like when you see the cartoons or the movies where the little guy's on the shoulder and you have the good voice and the bad voice. Well, that's going on in your head every single day. And it's your choice to basically start to feed into the negative and feed into that voice that's saying you can't do it, you're not good enough, you're this, you're that, and all these things. Or you can feed into the voice of good. And if you don't have the voice of good, then maybe we need to work on that. Maybe you need to start thinking different. Maybe you need to start reading some more books. Maybe you need to start listening to some audio programs. Guys, there's a plethora of information out there where you can reprogram your brain and take yourself from this disempowered state on where you are and create a different mindset. Because at the end of the day, it's our philosophies, positive mental philosophies, that are going to create the action that you're going to go do. Bad philosophies, bad actions. Good philosophies, good actions. So the beautiful part about this is we have the ability to change this at any point. And we can start listening to positive input. So what I'm saying is that if people are peeing in your ear, negativity, cut them out. You know, there's a saying, you got to change the people you hang around, or you have to change the people you hang around. What that means is that you are either the positive force that is basically bleeding positivity into everyone, that you're just this energy, and you heard Earl start off like the number one thing you do in this business is be happy, be excited. That comes from your philosophies. That comes from your belief system. That comes from certainty. Certainty comes from being on this call. Certainty comes from being on the Saturday calls. Certainty comes from going to the events and plugging into the culture and feeling it. And I'm going to share this real quick. The root word of culture is a Latin word, and it basically means caring. And what I want to share is that it's our responsibility to create a place, and what the book talked about, Culture Code, is how the best cultures out there have a culture of safety. And it talked about the guy, Andrew, that went in to go sabotage this one group. And there was this one guy, and it wasn't this motivational speaker guy or this guy that was like just this dynamic, what you picture as a leader. What this guy did was he shifted the energy in the group when the guy was being the jerk or the downer or whatever. And what he did is he created it as a place by asking questions and getting the other people involved and giving them responsibility and or their input, and then basically created an environment where they felt safe. And safety is one of the biggest things in terms of in culture. And if your team doesn't feel like they can talk to you, and they don't feel like they can really open up to you, because people lead different ways. And if you're not leading from a place of love and creating that place of safety, then what happens is they start murmuring about you behind the scenes. And then it starts that cancer that I'm talking about, where people are trying to figure out why it's not working for them. And again, the place they don't look is at the mirror, and they want to blame it on you for whatever reason. So what you have to recognize is that if you want people to love you, fail. If you want people to just go watch on Facebook and you hear somebody, my dog got hit by a car, or this happened or that happened, and oh, they're going to have 500 comments on it like, oh, poor thing, oh, and they're going to just speak all kinds of stuff. But you have somebody win in a big way, and people are going to start hating on you. They're going to start getting jealous of you. They're going to start whatever. So, you know, to whom much is given, much is required. And that's why we have to always be working on ourselves and lifting ourselves up, because you are going to be someone that people are going to pick as the reason on why they can't have success. I'm just telling you. So if you want people to love you, fail. If you're worried about what people think, because when you start winning in a big, big way, there are going to be people that are going to cheer you on, and we're going to love on you and all that other stuff, but there's also going to be haters. I'm just letting you know. So with that being said, guys, and now let's tie this back into the shiny object syndrome. And I've seen multiple different people that I've seen people jumping from company to company and different things like that. And you'll probably have people reach out to you and talk about different things and all that stuff, because that's what people do. And what you have to realize is that people quit. It's called life. People quit school. They quit relationships. They quit all kinds of stuff. Do you know that there's so many more freshmen in college than there are seniors? And why is that? Because people quit. And you can't have an emotional attachment to that. You just got to know that that's one of the people that quit. So with that being said, I want to talk about real quick, what is so special about what we have and how we create it and what's different. Number one, we have over a 10-to-1 customer to promoter ratio. Huge in the industry. Number two, we have a product that is affordable that people can actually buy, to where they will buy it as a customer, not only if there's a business involved. Most companies out there, most of the shiny objects, most of these things that people go into, and you'll see these companies and it looks like they have momentum. And the reason why is your filter is set to see the 20%ers. Your filter, because you're a 20%er, because you got started in this industry and you want to go out there and build a big income, your filter sees that. So what happens is the 20%ers, which is the 15%ers and the 5s, they get started in a company and they go after more 15%ers and 5s. All talking money, 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 business, get your position, get in line now, talking about binaries, get your spot. All you have to do is build one, power, all this crap, right? All this stuff out there. And then you have all the 20%ers that all rush into the company. And it's all promoter-based consumption. All the volume being generated is all from promoters. Recruiting people, recruiting people, recruiting people. What there isn't is a customer base, which is so important about what we have. Earl Green has over 100 and something customers. Living in a little Puduck, he calls it back in the backwoods sticks or whatever, right? And he has all these customers by sharing a cup of coffee. Most companies is all about recruiting, 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 recruiting. And when the momentum you see is the recruiting, but what you don't see is after a certain amount of time, after all the 20%ers come over, then there's no customer base, then nobody's making money, and guess what they do? They jump to the next shiny freaking object and go to the next one and go to the next one and go to the next one over and over and over again. And it blows my mind that I see even seasoned people that I would consider that should know that that's what's going on. And they go just jump into line saying, oh, well, let's see how much money we can make, how long it lasts, and all that other kind of stuff. And that's the reason why most people think that most businesses don't last, because their model is broken. So if you understand what drives the model and what creates stability. It's all the people that are making $200, $300, $400, $500, $600 checks, $1,000 checks. How many people? And this is what you have to understand. Most companies have people making no money, and then they have people making big money. And there's not a middle class. And guess what? When you're making the big checks, the big check does not last when there's not a middle class. And where does the middle class come from? The 80%ers that can get started and share something without even thinking about the business or without having the skill set to recruit, that they can share a product because the product gave value to them, and then their friends buy that product, and then they start to build a customer base off of customers. And then what happens, that 80%er actually turns into the 15%er and starts making more and more money because it's something that they can do. And most companies don't have a model where they even attract the 80%ers. So they'll never have the stability that they need. You have to have a model that attracts everyone, that attracts the business builders, that attracts the 5%ers, but also attracts the 80%ers, and where the 80%ers believe that they can do it. So I'm just telling y'all that because when you start, instead of looking in the mirror and you're looking at wanting to grow your business, and you see all these people hype things up on Facebook, oh, hype, 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 and all this crap that they do, don't fall for the trap of buying into the stuff. Look in the mirror and say, am I doing what it takes? Because it's going to take the same activity no matter where you go. And the reality is if you don't have the skill set, you're not going to be able to recruit anyway, you know. But with the 80%er model, the language of happy coffee, anybody can do it. You don't have to be skilled. You don't have to be trained. You don't have to do all these things. The only skill set we talk about is how to get better at just dealing with people, how to connect with people, and how to love on people. So I know I went off on a tangent right here, but I watched one of the leaders in a so-called leader, and guys, y'all hear me talk about the five levels of leadership, and the second level of leadership is positional leadership, which is called production leadership. You can have a rank and a title, but it doesn't make you a leader, guys. Because many people, if you go into momentum as a team and the team is having momentum, when you plug yourself into the team, you're going to grow because the rising tide raises all ships. And what happens is some of these people don't even know how they got where they are because they didn't understand how the model drove the behaviors and all that. And then they go somewhere else, and I've seen this happen over and over and over again. And they might have a little momentum real quick, seducing everybody, telling them, oh, you need to come over here. You could be the Ian Prather over here, the Ricky Durant, the, Robin Grigsby, or the Nancy and Enrique, or whatever. People always want to build people up and go, oh, you could be that person over here. Just start and get your position. And guys, I'm just telling you, I've been in this for 20 years. And one of the things that I can say that has been one of my biggest strengths is I have not fallen into shiny object syndrome, and I have not jumped from company to company to company thinking that the grass is going to be greener on the other side, because I know what it takes no matter where you are, and it takes work. It takes you going out there and sharing the message with people, and we have the easiest message to go out there and talk about that I've ever seen in this industry, and I've never seen a team grow the way that this team has grown, and you guys are absolutely freaking amazing. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. Again, it all boils down to your mindset. You notice I talk about that every week, because it's the most important part in the business. But you also have to know, when I hired a coach, and he shared with me, he says, you're not a leader until you really understand what drives the model, to where you can look at something and know if it's going to work or if it's not going to work. And you have to know, and we knew when we looked at this, we knew we had a home run. We knew that this was going to work. And the reason why we knew it was going to work is because it had all the right pieces. It had the message that attracts 80%ers. It has the affordable product that you can build a customer base on. It has that instant gratification that we have. And I have never seen anything like this. And what we have coming in the future with the leadership team that has come in on board from a corporate side is it's time to go out there and run and kick some ass. Bottom line, it's time to go out there and do the things that you've dreamed of doing for your whole life. It's time for you to start living up to your ability. See, leaders are made, not born. And basically every single one of you on this call can decide right now that today is the best or the first day of the rest of my life. And every single day you just do little things to move you towards your goal. And that's really all it boils down to, guys. If you want to have success, you start to think like it. You start to believe it. Because the bottom line is people want to join leaders. So how do you think about things? How do you feel about stuff? Because you have to have that mindset that this is where I'm going. This is what we're doing. This is why we're doing it. Who's coming with me? And when you have that mindset and you have that desire and that passion and that energy, people want to follow a leader. But you decide that you're a leader today. Don't look at your circumstances. Your past doesn't equal your future. What you've gone through, what you've done, what you've been, guys, at the lowest point of my life, we started here. And we stepped into the role of leader. And we stepped into this is what we're going to do. This is what it's going to look like. And what did we sell? We sold the culture. We sold the environment. And guys, you can do that. Because all you have to do is love on people and create that environment and tell people this is an environment of love and connection and where you can be the best version of yourself. So with that being said, I hope y'all got value from this call tonight. We're going to close it out with that. Everybody have an awesome night. I'm going to unmute the call. Everybody can say good night. And yes, this is recorded and it will be posted on zoomreplay.com where all of the audios are put up there. But I'm unmuting everybody.
Aloha.
Awesome job.
Good night, everybody. That was awesome.
Everybody love coffee.
Thank you.
Now it's
Good job.
Yeah.
Aloha. Thanks.